Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. Electoral Commission of Zambia TAMES KAMBWILI. LUSAKA man gets 60 years imprisonment for defiling his 4-year-old daughter. Join me with the Midday News in detail after this commercial.
May I please have 1 beer and 2 glasses?
Do you have champagne? Yes.
Hold that thought. No champagne, just for the month.
Oh,
you know
God.
we gotta keep on texting R to 9595.
I'm sick and tired of this R9595.
You stand a chance of your lifetime to win a brand new 2020 Range Rover Evoque when you text R to 9595. From as little as 5 kwacha, you get 1 entry, 10 kwacha for 3 entries, and 20 kwacha will give you a whopping 7 entries. There will also be daily and weekly consolation prizes up for grabs. That's great news, right? Competition runs from 12th of May to 31st of August 2021 and is only open to Zamtel subscribers. Terms and conditions apply.
Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Our achievements in the health sector. As the Patriotic Front government, we have recruited and deployed 27,000 nurses and other health personnel across the country to provide the much-needed healthcare, including the fight against COVID-19, child healthcare, as well as maternity care to all parts of the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
And now the Midday News in detail. The Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ has suspended Patriotic Front member KAMBWILI from participating in any campaign activities in the country subject to review. ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano says the suspension follows the hate speech and the holding of campaign rally in Chilabombe district on the Copperbelt by Dr. KAMBWILI, which goes against the Commission's directive that no political party should hold a rally. Mr. Shindano says other active cases of violation of the Electoral Code of Conduct are being revealed and that appropriate action will be taken against all perpetrators. He has since appealed to the media to not carry hate messages on their platform and ensure that political activities are recorded to avoid communicating hate messages.
Monday, 28th June 2021, Patriotic Front member KAMBWILI decided to go against a directive by the Electoral Commission of Zambia that no political party should hold rallies owing to the increased number of COVID-19 cases and deaths in the country. Dr. KAMBWILI, who is also former National Democratic Congress leader, held a rally in Chilabombe district on the Copper Belt, where he went on to preach hate messages by saying all Tongas are UPND and that Zambia should not vote for the UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema, who is a Tonga. These sentiments have been received with a lot of criticism from stakeholders, which has forced the Electoral Commission of Zambia to act by suspending Dr. KAMBWILI from conducting any political campaigns in the country.
The Commission has noted with serious concern the breach of the Electoral Code of Conduct by Mr. KAMBWILI, particularly the use of hate speech and indeed holding of campaign rallies despite the guidance provided. The use of language which incites hatred or violence in any form against any person shall not be tolerated by the Commission, as it contravenes the provisions of the Electoral Code of Conduct. Additionally, going against Commission decision to suspend rallies and roadshows does not only undermine the work of the stakeholders, it also puts the country at risk. Arising from this, the Commission would like to announce that Mr. KAMBWILI has been suspended indefinitely, subject to review, from participating in any campaign activities in line with paragraph 11 ID of the Electoral Code of Conduct.
Mr. Shindano adds that the Commission is revealing other reports of the violation of the Electoral Code of Conduct and that action will be taken against all perpetrators.
Let me mention that at this point, We still have a number of active cases, which we are still reviewing. And these other cases are also before us, and appropriate action will be taken against any perpetrator of hate speech or indeed any other violation of the Electoral Code of Conduct.
He has since appealed to media owners to avoid promoting hate speech by not carrying them on their platforms.
With regards to the number of resignations, deaths, and those that will be conducting fresh nominations, we will be communicating to the public shortly. We are consolidating that number, but also verifying with the respective candidates and indeed political parties. So once that is done, I'm sure during the course of this week or early next week, we'll be able to announce, including the date within which fresh nominations, where applicable, will be conducted.
Late Zambia's first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, has been remembered for preaching the One Zambia, One Nation motto, which no politician should erase from the Zambian soil by preaching hate messages even as the nation mourns and heads towards the general elections. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Residents of John Howard compound in Lusaka's Chawama constituency are irked by the interrupted power supply, which has now entered day 3. According to the residents spoken to by Camnet TV, one of the transformers supplying power to the area became faulty on Monday the 27th of June, resulting in the power cut. The residents have therefore called on the power utility company to restore power to the area, as the most businesses requiring power to operate are on a standstill.
After working hard to own a small butchery in one of Lusaka's compounds, John Howard, imagine your fresh products all going to waste because of loss of power to the area for almost 3 days now. Eunice is one of the many small retail outlets owners who has suffered losses through their business as a result of the loss of power to the area. She and many others are not happy that the power utility company ZESCO is taking too long to restore power to the area, despite having reported the matter several times to the utility company.
Malaiti affecti makamaka ifava groceries. Tikulisako na nyama zaonongeka mango ngagulise ndani vintu vaora. Manzi using a pump. Malaiti tiribe vonse vivasita affect. Chifukwa cha malaiti.
Other businesses like car washers in the area have completely come to a standstill, as they entirely depend on water from the nearby water tanks, which too depend on electricity to pump the water.
Manzi kulibe kutoka mazo material yonse tinavara manje lati zasebeza bwaji material manzi kulibe zasebeza na machani na right pump. So ndio problem yetu yapeza ma customers futi tena nikaa paki behind mashopo kulikaa paki no maraiti so singa wala tibakawala bangena basifanangena so tifuna ko tamizo mtani zeko waloba ZESCO babwere kwa think by kufika chitu ma 18 babwere ba control so that bantu basatilire bamashop bantu.
Tailors, on the other hand, have also not been spared.
Makamaka mukuchisa because nikatunga mafunika na chisa. Then again malaiti I machine remote and masebenza malaiti. Manje kulibe malaiti so yanista affect maningi chabe because siningatunge cho panda kuchisa.
Efforts to get a comment from the power utility company ZESCO went unattended to, as most of their phones went unanswered by broadcast time. Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
A 38-year-old man of Lusaka's Chilenja township, who was Monday afternoon hacked by suspected Patriotic Front cadres for wearing a shirt belonging to the United Party for National Development, is seeking justice for his injuries. Richard Sinkala narrated to Camnet TV News that he met his attackers along Ring Road in Lusaka's Chalala area on his way from work, where some men dressed in PF regalia jumped off from a moving vehicle with weapons used to hack him. He says the men wanted to chop off his leg but left him for dead after noticing the deep cut on the back of his head. And Inspector General of Police Kakuma Kanganja has expressed disappointment over the continued violent conduct of political cadres.
Richard Sinkala, a 38-year-old man of Lusaka, is battling for his life at the University Teaching Hospital in Lusaka, not because he is sick or has a health condition, but because he was on Monday, 28 June 2021, seen wearing a United Party for National Development UPND t-shirt. Mr. Sinkala, a father of 4, has lamented that he does not understand what offense he committed by simply wearing a UPND t-shirt to deserve such kind of ruthless hacking. He has told this reporter that he saw men dressed in Patriotic Front regalia jump from a moving vehicle with weapons cruising towards this direction before he decided to run for his life.
After 16 to 17, so in the issue at our PF, but the contact t-shirt, so for my issue, and the other crosser, but ring road, Sarena site. So they close up about the connect in Japan. Should issue them bonana t-shirt. Bonana t-shirt for Toloki, Motok, Namapang. Mr.
Sinkala adds that the hackers wanted to go as far as chopping off his legs, but thought he was dead after seeing him lying in a pool of blood, leaving him with injuries on both legs.
So for now, putting a punch by some computer, if I see him not enough. So I should have waited a man's equipment, we are panganda paria, if you neighbor, Naumbu Kashano and Stakorent. Ever for a remote talk.
And wife to the victim wants justice for her husband.
Twalaika lashani mcheli chesu cha Zambia. Nawa inende dandaula sana mwandini. Isindelo mbako. Abantu bashitire fuba lume bandi. Bombele nipo wa polisi mubasangi na papata.
Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja, through his spokesperson Esther Katongo, is disappointed with the continued violence conduct of political cadres.
The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kakoma Kanganja, is displeased with the continued violent conduct of political cadres, which he said is a manifestation of total disregard for human dignity. He has called on police officers to ensure that all culprits are brought to book. He was referring to an incident which happened along Ring Road in Lusaka.
A New Hope Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD spokesperson Kefas Mukuka wants the family of the Sinkala to be compensated.
Each time we hear of political extremism and etc., we don't hear of any arrests coming from the police. And this is a source of worry because we are in the midst of political campaigns. In the same vein, we are now appealing to the family of Mr. Sinkala that they should follow relevant steps to see to it that their son is but compensated.
And efforts to get a comment from Patriotic Front spokesperson Antonio Mwanza proved futile as he was unable to respond to this reporter. No man deserves to die by simply having an opposing view. Prudence Tota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Lusaka High Court Judge Sharon Newa has sentenced a 32-year-old man to 60 years imprisonment with hard labor for defiling his 4-year-old daughter. In this case, Benjamin Mkobela was charged with 1 count of incest, contrary to Section 1591 of the Penal Code Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. Particulars of the offense were that Mkobela on 1st December 2018 in Lusaka unlawfully had carnal knowledge of his younger daughter.
Benjamin Mkobela will have to spend half of his life in jail after the Lusaka High Court slapped him with a 60-year sentence for defiling his 4-year-old daughter 3 years ago. Mkobela's case dates back to the year 2018, specifically 1st December, the year and month he committed the offense. At only 32 years old, the convict, a Lusaka resident, took advantage of his biological daughter
who was aged between 3 to 4 years at the time, and defiled her. After being dragged to court, Mukobela was charged with 1 count of incest, contrary to Section 159 of the laws of Zambia. The Lusaka Magistrate Court later convicted and committed him to the Lusaka High Court for sentencing, but before his sentence, the convict spent 10 months in jail. And when the matter came up for sentencing before the Lusaka High Court, the convict in his mitigation begged for lenience as he was a first offender. He also told the court that during the 10 months he spent in incarceration, he has had the time to reflect on his actions. He also informed the court that he was a law-abiding citizen before the commission of the offense. But in passing a sentence, Judge Sharon Newa said the convict breached the duty of trust that he owed to the child, who obviously looked up to him to protect her. She also told the convict that society does not need such fathers and sentenced him to 60 years imprisonment with hard labor, effective 2nd July 2019, the date of arrest. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
That news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Electoral Commission of Zambia, TAMES, KAMBWILI. LUSAKA man gets 60 years imprisonment for defiling his 4-year-old daughter. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Remember, COVID is real. Always wear your mask, avoid crowded places, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay safe and good afternoon.